Hello, everyone. This is Jeff Hastings. Thank you for joining us. Today, we are going to cover the patient flow application, which is part of the Performance Bridge platform. As we've discussed before, the two analytics applications that come standard with the platform, with the Performance Bridge platform, are quality and productivity. Both are looking at the same information in the database. Quality is more of a data visualization, dashboard type of view, and productivity is your traditional report-based, text-based view of the information, but they go hand in hand and both reference the same information in the database. All of the other applications that are on the Performance Bridge platform are applications designed to solve certain problems or address certain workflow challenges that a facility may have, and a customer can choose each individual application based on where they want to focus, what they want to really focus on and try and improve the workflow. With patient flow is actually designed to help improve the physical room utilization. So initially it was developed for interventional radiology when we first created the application, but it can be used for cardiology, your regular modalities, MR, CT, etc. But it's focused on room utilization. So there is patient information in this application. And if you think about it, in most of the departments, especially interventional radiology, many times they'll have a physical whiteboard up on the wall listing the patients that are to be scanned that day. And if there's a cancellation or they need to move patients around, etc., they're physically erasing a name, writing it in a new spot, or moving it with a magnet, those types of things. But it's a physical board, and that creates some fairly significant workflow challenges. In that type of a workflow environment, the only way you really have up to the minute information on what's going on is to physically stand in front of the board and look at it. Or if you've maybe got the patient, they've signed their consent, then you have to travel back to the department, make the updates there, etc. So it's a very, very labor-intensive process, but that's really how most facilities do it right now. With patient flow, the reason we created this application was to move from more of a physical whiteboard schedule type of an environment to an online environment where everyone that needs to see the scheduling and the status of the patients for each individual room, they can see that regardless of where they're at. So if they're up on the patient floor, they get the consent signed, et cetera, all of the paperwork's done, they can make the change there and it's immediately reflected in the department so they can see the updates in real time. This has also helped in terms of some of the COVID changes and workflow, trying to reduce the amount of people that are in a given area, et cetera, some of the social distancing. This application also helps with some of that in terms of streamlining the workflow without requiring a person to be physically in front of the board, so to speak. So with that as the background, this can, like I mentioned, it can be used for different modalities. In this view that I'm showing right now, I'm just looking at my schedule for the day for a group of modalities. I can see what's on the schedule, what's already been completed, as well as where we're at right now and what's coming up later in the day. If I wanted to switch this over to a different view, I'm going to switch it to interventional radiology, and I'm also going to change the date, for a couple days from now. So I'm just looking at more of forward-looking scheduling, so to speak. So in this case, here's my IR rooms for a couple days from now. I can see my schedule. If this was a scenario, maybe it's the same day today, and there's a cancellation or there was an emergency, things of that nature, then I can simply drag things around. So if there was something that I wanted to move from one room to another, maybe to free up a case that was going to be a little bit longer duration, then I can do that simply by dragging and dropping. And now I've got the new picture or the new view of the schedule. If I wanted to update individual pieces of information, so I can select that line for this patient, here's all of my patient information. If there was any rounding or comments, information that was added in, I would see them here. I can also see kind of an audit log, what's happened, and you can see that I moved the order to a different room, etc. In terms of updating the status, if I've received the patient's consent and I have all of my paperwork completed, then I can make those selections. So I'm up on the floor, I make those changes, and then you can see the icons are added here so other people can see what the status is without having to actually talk to me or me to come back down to the floor, etc. If for some reason this study needed to be put on hold, maybe I didn't, the patient was not consenting or whatever, I could put it on hold, make that change and see that visually here as well. So a lot of flexibility that you have, and it's all primarily focused on making it more efficient for the staff to operate their rooms, move patients in and out, etc. The other thing I can do from this application, if I did want to view the most recent images, I could select them here, and as we've talked about before, this is going to launch a URL-based viewer, so I can actually see those individual images. In this view here, I'm viewing it on a room by room basis, but in kind of a calendar view, so broken out by the different time throughout the day. If I wanted to have a little bit more streamlined view, maybe a particular physician is assigned to an individual room, they might prefer to see this type of a view where here's my individual room and this is what my schedule is for the day. Especially in a situation with cardiology, this might be something that would be of a need or a desired view. Many times the facilities for the cardiovascular department, they may just do block scheduling. So instead of scheduling individual patients into individual rooms, they just say everything that belongs to this physician, we're just going to grant them a block of time and then let the physician fill that time. So there's different ways to view the information based on the desires of the facility and the department, cardiology, radiology, etc. The last one that I wanted to point out is that we do have a kiosk view. So in some situations, this may be similar functionality to an EMR, but they may not have purchased that option through the EMR. So it's just a different way of viewing the information in more of a anonymous type fashion. So in this case, this would be a view that you would actually have on a monitor in the patient waiting room. So the patient's back in the department, the family's sitting in the waiting room, and we just tell them, your family member corresponds with 3847, so they can actually see some of the changes, see the icons, etc. So they can get an update on where we're at with the overall procedure without having the need to go up to the nurse's station and ask them, time and time again, how are things going? Are there any updates, etc. So this is just a more of a anonymized version of the schedule and providing some information about the status changes. So again, this is the key thing to remember on this application is in most departments, they have a physical whiteboard that's up on the wall, and that's how they're tracking the actual room utilization. And in this application, we're actually turning that from a physical whiteboard, turning it into more of a electronic whiteboard that allows multiple people to look at the schedule, make updates without having to physically stand in the room. But all of this application is really focused on making efficient use of the physical rooms themselves and providing the tools to the staff to be able to make efficient use of those rooms. So if you have any additional questions, please reach out to your local Philips representative. Thank you.